we made just this one experiment, and I would call it an experiment. I was able to read about drone journalism online and saw some things that have been done in Brazil and in Europe.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Okay, so could you kind of describe the process that you went of like deciding which drone to use?
sure. So we were pretty much waiting for something that would really be big if we did it, if we used a drone to video, to film. And just a few weeks ago, we had this massive protests on the streets of Mexico City, which you saw in the video. So we thought that that was the correct news event that would work to to start off with our drone journalism. We looked at various drones. We evaluated the possibility of maybe having our own and purchasing our own drones. But we ended up deciding that the best way to start was actually getting in touch with somebody who does this as a business. We did this with DronesSkycam, which is a business that uses drones for different kinds of purposes, like filming places where there's going to be big constructions, surveillance, and things like this. We hooked up with them. We told them about drone journalism. They were quite enthusiastic about the idea. They'd never heard of the concept, and they decided that they would gladly help us to do our first experiment. So actually, the drone we used is not our own drone. It's quite sophisticated drone. It's Swiss made. It has lots of technology on it. It can fly autonomously. It can fly up to 1 kilometer up, and you can fly it without having to see it. It's one of these drones where the pilot uses some goggles, and he's virtually seeing what the drone is seeing. Besides, those goggles let him see altitude and different specs that he needs to be able to fly. So it's a pretty sophisticated device that we use thanks to partnering with these guys.
Okay, so what do you guys want to do with the drones? Are you planning on just kind of what we're trying to do, supplement reporting with aerial images?
Yeah, maybe basically it's aerial images of things that are really highly important for our readers. We don't want to abuse the use of the drone. We want to select very, very precisely what kind of things we want to do with the drone. Of course, there are security issues and ethical issues that we also take into account. So sometimes we might have an idea that we could use a drone to cover something, but sometimes safety issues and climate issues and ethical issues will make us ponder and decide maybe not to do some kind of stories that we've thought about. So we're trying to choose very selectively what we want to do with the drone. We also think that filming protests is we've done that now, so we want to try to use it in different to tell different stories, and we're working on that. And hopefully, we're going to have a few more examples of other things you can do with drones.
Okay, so what's some of the political feelings that people are having about drones in Mexico? Because in the United States, people are kind of afraid of them.
Yeah, it's true. Here in Mexico, we have this misconception that drone is equal to a war in Afghanistan and military use. And so people were very surprised when we used it. Actually, there was this whole buzz around the drone the day we used it. Lots of news outlets wrongfully reported that it was a police drone that was watching the protesters and was taking pictures of the protesters in order to identify them, which was absolutely false. And it strikes me because we were always very open about who we were when people asked us. what we were doing and who we were, and we would identify ourselves clearly as being journalists of Reforma. And despite that, there was one of the big stories of the day was the drone, and this even put us into jeopardy because since people were reporting that it was a police drone, some of the protesters tried to bring it down using rocks and slingshots and fireworks. So it turned out to be even a little dangerous. Um, but then on the next day, on the Monday after we filmed and we published it, everybody realized that there had been a mistake. Some serious newspapers even put the picture of our drone on their front page, saying that it was police, blah blah blah. And all we did was simply show them that it was our drone, actually, the one that was there. So yes, there is some big misconception that even became a little became a buzz on the day. But after that, I guess people realized that drones can be used for some other purposes.
Hmm. So looking back, is there anything that you'd like to do differently?
No, I think everything went out pretty well. We had beautiful images, especially, and more importantly, I would say they have journalistic value. We realized that it's not just something that is nice to watch, but also it did have a journalistic value, and the video was really popular on our site and on YouTube. So I think we covered three very important aspects, which were being being in the forefront of experimenting with new journalistic language, which is the drone. We did it with experts. We did not try to do it on our own and experiment on our own. We partnered with people who have experience in this, and I think that was very important too. And also we did take into consideration security and ethical aspects of the work we did. In Mexico, there's no legislation respecting drones. However, we did have lots and lots of precaution when we flew the drone. We had a checklist, make sure everything was working properly before we flew it. And I think that that is also a very important aspect in drone journalism.